Hello again. We're back talking about the coronavirus. How do we quarantine with difficult people and survive it? I'm all about giving people tools, not just during the coronavirus. My entire ministry, website, books, other videos, I think I have over 170 YouTube videos, are all about giving you practical tools to deal with difficult people and life. And for those of you that are spiritual, I usually give scripture with them a lot of the times, so it can just help reinforce that for you and help you pull those two parts of your life together. So I'm going to talk to you tonight about dealing with manipulative people. Now, what does it mean to manipulate? Okay, I've got some Play-Doh here, purple Play-Doh, and I'm going to tell you that I'm going to manipulate this Play-Doh. I'm going to make it long. I'm going to put it into a circle. I'm going to squish it. I'm going to roll it into a ball. I'm going to pull it into two pieces. What is significant about that? I'm manipulating the Play-Doh. It is doing whatever I want it to do. I now made it into one piece. I put a big thing in the middle. Now I'm going to fold it and I'm going to squeeze it together and smash it into a ball. That's you. That's you when people manipulate you. Pretty scary. I don't want to be Play-Doh. You don't want to be Play-Doh. We want to be resistant to that manipulation. We want to be like, you might want to squish me into a ball, but I don't want to be squished into a ball. So I'm not going to let you squish me into a ball. I'm not going to let you do whatever you want to do to me. So how is it that the manipulator can do whatever he or she wants to do to you? Manipulation, right? How do they manipulate you? Okay, do it a little bit differently than the Play-Doh, but what they do is they use tactics. They use tactics to get you to do what they want you to do. What are those tactics? Well, one of them is guilt. They guilt you. They will use whatever doubts you have in yourself, whatever weaknesses you have. Maybe you desperately want to be a good mom or a good dad or a good wife or a good husband or a good parent or good sibling or a good person. And anytime someone accuses you of not being one of those things and says, whoa, you're mean, you're a mean mom, a mean dad, or you're a bad son, a bad daughter, you're not a very good husband, I wish I hadn't married you, you're not a very good wife, I don't want to be with you. Oh, that just puts us right into the place where we feel guilty. Guilt, right? And here's some other things where I had written down ways that people can guilt you during the coronavirus. If I can find my list here. Oh, let's see. They can guilt you and say, it's your fault I'm sick. It's your fault I didn't get to go to the doctor. It's your fault I lost my job. It's your fault I can't work. It's your fault that I can't leave you, or that I have to be here with you, or that I had to drop out of college, or it's your fault that I'm going to die alone, or I'm going to starve, or I'm going to run out of money, or I'm on the street, or I don't have a place to live, or I don't have my car anymore. It's your fault I'm getting into debt. It's your fault I'm going to lose my insurance. It's your fault that I got sick. It's your fault that I might get sick. It's going to be your fault. And fill in the blank. It's your fault I can't pay my bills. So they're going to guilt you. They're going to blame you and guilt you. And if you're weak in that area and you take on the responsibility that other people have for their own choices or their own mistakes, then you're going to feel that guilt. And let me tell you, guilt feels so bad that when you feel guilt, you usually give in, because it's just tough to feel that overwhelming guilt and not know what to do with that. Well, okay, that's one way that a manipulator manipulates you. Sometimes people call it emotional manipulation, meaning that the person manipulates your emotions. Another emotion they can manipulate is fear, make you afraid. I'm going to die. If you do that, I'm going to get sick, or I might get sick, or I might lose my job because of you, or I might not recover, or I might fill in the blank, right? They're going to use fear. They're going to use fear of taking away from you what's important to you. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to leave and take the kids. You're never going to see me again. Very teenagers, young adults will say, oh, I'm never going to have anything to do with you after I move out of this house. And I always tell people, just, you might wish that at some point, but they're coming back, right? So I'm kidding, but I've had many friends that will call me and I've been there the same place myself when my kids say that, and you're devastated. And then later on, you're like, how do I get rid of this kid? How do I make this kid move out? So those are threats. Okay, threats to do something, to take something away from you that matters to you. Threats to do something to you. People can threaten all kinds of things. I'm going to tell your secret. I'm going to expose you. I'm going to take all the money. I'm going to go find someone else. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to take the kids away. I'm going to lose my job. I'm not going to help you anymore. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to take care of you when you're old. Whatever it is that you fear happening, the person will use that fear. So there's fear, there's guilt, there's blame, and then sometimes they'll promise you, make promises. They'll manipulate your emotions by making promises. Oh, I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get you a house. I'm going to get you, we're going to have a baby. We're going to go see your parents. We're going to do what you want to do, what you've always wanted to do. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to stop going there or stop seeing this person. Whatever it is, to manipulate you into staying, into being quiet, to accepting what's going on, to stop asking questions, to go get a job or keep working to provide for things. You see, the manipulator wants something. The manipulator wants what the manipulator wants. And the manipulator wants to get it, not by asking you, but by manipulating you into doing it. So the manipulator has to manipulate you to feel something that will make you give in and do exactly what the manipulator wants. So in the coronavirus, it could be anything. It could be for you to bring this person the food and the money and the things that this person is demanding, or it could be for you to tolerate behavior from that person that you really don't want to tolerate, or it could be to get you to be the one that goes out and gets a job and takes care of everything and pays everything, or it could be for you to continue to put up with something that's not acceptable to you in a relationship, something the person is doing, but you're feeling like, I can't, leave. I can't ask that person to leave. I can't ask that kid to move out. I can't ask that person not to come into my house or not to bring other people in, whatever it is that's happening. So those are just some of the things that the intimidator will use. Sometimes it's the manipulator acting like a victim. Poor me, I don't have any friends, I don't have any help, I don't have any money, I don't have any place to go, I'm not going to find any food, I'm not going to get a job, I'm going to die, poor me, no one cares, no one loves me. And then if you give into that feeling like, oh, this person, nobody cares, nobody loves them, so I've got to care, I've got to love this person, I've got to take care of this person. But you recognize this is all a manipulation to get you to believe that this person is helpless and dependent on you and that you have to be the one to step in. Manipulators play games, because they have an outcome and they want to make sure they get that outcome. So what do you do? All right, so if you are dealing with a manipulator, first of all, you are not going to change the manipulator. You're not going to stand up next to a manipulator and say, hey, you're a manipulator, quit manipulating me, right? You can say it if you want to, but you're not going to change that person. They're highly resistant to change. Why? The manipulator does not know how to get what he or she wants by asking. Healthy is to just ask, will you please let me stay here? Would you be willing to go and get a job? Will you blank? I need this. Will you do it? You tell the person directly and openly what you need, and you ask the person if the person is willing to give that to you. The person gets to say no or yes by choice, not by manipulation, right? Not by being controlled. Now, you've got to know you. How does manipulator get to you? Okay, what's your weakness? Because manipulator can't get to you unless you let the manipulator get to you. You can be completely oblivious to what the manipulator wants and is doing if you don't let it happen. If you don't let it get to you. So what you're going to do is you're going to figure it out. What kind of threats make me want to give in? What kind of things do I feel easily guilted over? What kind of things am I fearful of losing that can be used to manipulate me? What kind of promises make me relax and give in? What kind of helpless statements make me feel responsible for someone else? What are those things that the manipulator does that make me give in? Know them, because then you will begin to see the manipulator using them to get to you, which is going to give you the ability to choose to not give in. Literally to say, oh, that's manipulative. Not going to feel guilty. I'm not doing anything wrong. Not going to be afraid of that threat. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to make sure that that person cannot follow through with that threat. Or, oh, there that person goes again, threatening to do what the person never does, because now I'm not going to give in, right? But before I gave in. Expect the manipulator to try other ways when you stop giving into something, but pay attention, recognize those too. Next one, don't try to defend yourself to the manipulator. Try to win by argument or any of those types of things, because again, manipulator doesn't want to cut a deal with you and give you the right to say no. The manipulator just wants to manipulate. Next one is to know your boundaries. Okay, know what are you willing to do and not willing to do. What is it? I don't know what your limits are, but you should. And if you don't, you need to figure them out, because the manipulator will keep trying, and you've just got to know, whoops, I stop at that line. That I don't go further than that. I don't, this is it for what I accept in my home. This is it for what I'm willing to do. Done. That's it. Or, okay, that's my limit. Like, I know I'm not responsible for all that stuff. I'm not responsible for what that person's doing. Know your boundaries and stick to them. The next one is to stop the manipulative interactions as quickly as possible. If you sense the conversation becoming manipulative, you just say, you know what, I gotta go, I can't keep talking. I've got some things I need to do, or I got a call I need to make, or just simply end the conversation and walk away, because you're not going to win in a long conversation with the manipulator. The longer you stay, the more the manipulator is going to twist and threaten and use fear and guilt and all of the things that the manipulator uses to try to wear you down. So just stop the conversation when you see it getting manipulative. And just remember, the manipulator could ask you directly, will you do blank? And give you a chance to say yes or no, but the person won't. The next one is to limit the time that you spend together if you have that option. If you have a really manipulative person, you maybe want to have less time with that person. That person is your spouse or your mother who lives with you. You're going to have to be a little more creative about how to do that. Now, threats, like I said, if you want to look at threats, you want to say, is the person going to follow through on this? If not, you just detach from it and act as if it wasn't said. If the person will, and there is something dangerous with that, protect yourself. If the person's threatening to take your kids away, and that makes you very fearful and stops you in your tracks, make an appointment with an attorney and find out if this person could take the kids from you in a divorce situation. Don't let that threat just work against you without knowing the reality of what you have. Get advice, figure it out. So don't take the threats personally if they are not going to follow through. But if they are, take care of yourself. Now you want to work on getting stronger always in terms of who you are, what you believe, what you'll do, what your boundaries are, what you know, the truth you know about yourself. And then if you're confused, get on the phone or with somebody in person and ask that person, was that a manipulative interaction? Was that person being manipulative, or am I, like kind of seeing manipulation everywhere? Just kind of get reinforcement and find out how to strengthen your ability to identify manipulation. It's very impossible. So the other thing is, and I suggested this with abuse, is if it is possible and it won't like escalate it to where it's going to get into a problem, you can just say, to the manipulator. You could say, that feels manipulative, or could you just please ask me directly for what you want? Never want to do that if it's going to escalate violence or, you know, be just something that's just more than you can handle. But you could start doing that. There's a manipulative person that I know, and I often started saying that, is just, could you just ask me directly for what you want? I can tell you want something. Or, you know, is there any way that you could, yeah, pretty much that. I don't even know if there's another way to say it. So, okay, remember, this is you. And the manipulator, it's to do whatever he or she can break you if you let them, right? But if you refuse and you don't move and you don't let the manipulator do what is wanted, the manipulator can't. The only way the manipulator can manipulate you is if you let the manipulation work. Don't. Okay, I'll see you next time.